Superintendent Lulo, honored members of the dais, distinguished teachers, staff, students, friends, relatives. My name is Dominic Butera. It is my honor to welcome you to the 2001 Distinguished Teacher Award ceremony. First and foremost, congratulations. You've earned it. I can think of no more honored award than one is given by your peers. Nothing happens in education unless it happens between you and your students. The Board of Education, central office, the administration are all designed to make it happen in the classroom. Therefore, whatever success is gained through the education of our children is directly related to your outstanding efforts. You represent the best of us. Congratulations again. I guess I've been around a long time when I start to know more of the people here than when I first came. And I turn around and I take a look at John Zimmer in back of me, and he's one of my students, and here he is nominating someone for a distinguished teacher. That makes my heart feel real good. And then I take a look and see who's the co-chairman of today's event. And when I first came to Greenwich in 1973, I had the pleasure and privilege of having Ardith Williams as my first PTA president as I was a young fledgling at North Miami School. Now I'm no longer young nor a fledgling, but it's Ardith, I'm sure, will be kind to me when she gets up here. But it's my pleasure to really introduce someone who's put this together. She's put such great energy into this, along with her co-chairperson. And they've been here. They've made sure every detail was covered. And it's just exciting to see it take place. So at this time, Ardith, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dom. I need to say I was a child PTA president. A very sincere thank you to the very talented COSCOP students and their wonderful director, Curtis Tipton. And a very special vote of thanks to Dom Butera for again opening the doors of this beautiful facility and hosting us for this award ceremony. I've had the privilege of chairing the Distinguished Teacher Committee this year with a very fine group of committee members and a co-chairman. I'm pleased to welcome the Superintendent of Schools, who needs no introduction, but it's Roger Lulo for some of you who may be from out of town. State Senator Bill Nickerson has come to join us today, and we're delighted to have you here. Board of Education Chairman Jenny Kroeb, we're also pleased that you could be with us today. And a sincere welcome to the other members of the Board of Education, the selectmen. The members of the State House of Representatives, including our committee member, Libby Florin, were unable to be here, and they sent their regrets because they are in session this afternoon. Please allow me just a few minutes, first of all, to say, if you're standing in the back, there are some empty seats up here. Please feel free to come forward and take a seat. There are a number right here in this section, so we hope you'll come and sit down. I want to recognize other individuals who have been instrumental in this award program. First, a thank you to the donors whose generous contributions have made the annual award and its accompanying $500 stipend possible. Their names are listed on your program. Our committee, whose members are also named on your program, is composed of 2 representatives from the Board of Education, GOSA, the GEA, and the PTA, as well as 8 members of the community at large. The committee has worked enthusiastically, diligently, and very thoughtfully throughout this year to come to this point. And I'm asking those committee members to please stand. Now, I know they all couldn't be here. Some are at the Rotary Board meeting, some are in the state capitol, but we do welcome those who are here today, and they've all been terrific. The committee has also been most capably, cheerfully, efficiently, and basically supported every step of the way by two very strategic people, and they are Kim Eves and Linda Wissing. Kim and Linda, would you please stand? They're back there. In 1984, the Distinguished Teachers Award was created to honor and to celebrate the outstanding, dedicated, and multi-talented faculty in the Greenwich Public Schools. We are here to celebrate 6 teachers today who have been an inspiration to their students and their peers, who have set high standards of academic excellence for their students and for themselves, and who have eagerly reached out and gone that extra mile for their students, the parents, the school, and the community. Today, we also honor those of you who are a part of the education profession, all of you. Senator Nickerson would like to say a few words at this time.
What a delight to be in the company of distinguished musicians. Boy, I wish I could pick up a violin and make it do that, don't you? And distinguished teachers. One of the pleasantest features of my job is the ability to go to different schools throughout the communities that I represent, visit with teachers, visit with students, even teach a bit of a class. And I've met a lot of distinguished teachers. So I'm particularly pleased to be here today as we celebrate not only today's distinguished teachers, but through them, in a way, so many hundreds of teachers throughout the system who participate in the unequal job of unequal importance of caring for the development and the intellectual attainments of our children. What a great job. If I ever quit as a state senator, watch out, teachers. I may come next. So I'm so glad it was said, and I'd like to repeat. I will certainly participate with great privilege in honoring today's teachers, but I think they would agree, and you would all agree, that we honor a spirit of excellence that goes throughout the core of Greenwich's great teachers. So thanks very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Senator Nickerson. These 6 distinguished teachers that we have on the stage today, along with the award recipients of the past 16 years, represent a continuum of excellence and achievement of which we are all very, very proud. Will all the former award winners in the audience today please stand? Is that not an impressive group? Now let's meet our newest class. The nominators will be introducing the teachers that they have nominated. First of all, just to go to show that education never stops, we've sort of reversed order this year, and we're not going alphabetically, because Susan O'Connell, a colleague that will introduce Susan Whalen, has her last class of the year in New York, and she's got to make the train. So without further ado, here is Susan O'Connell to introduce Susan Whalen.
Thank you. I'm going to need a little audience participation for this first part of the program. So I hope you're ready. Give me a T. T. Give me an E. E. Give me an A. A. Give me an M. M. What does that spell? Susan Whalen. Thank you. Thank you. It is my distinct honor to introduce my colleague and good friend, Susan Whalen. When I first met Susan, I was considering accepting a position to teach on a 3rd grade team with her at Parkway School. One of the first questions Susan asked me was how I felt about working on a team. She shared with me at that point that teamwork was very important in her teaching and provided an invaluable support system for her. I came to realize how true this was for Susan when I started working with her. We have spent numerous hours together before and after school, talking, planning, thinking, and laughing. Susan brings such warmth and humor to our third grade team and extends those feelings to our larger community at Parkway. At times, Susan wears different hats as a member of our team. Sometimes she is our coach, guiding us, advising us, and pushing us to do our best. Other times, she works more like an umpire, considering each side and each opinion and working to develop a consensus among us. But most often, Susan is a member of our team working right alongside with us. She is willing to share her expertise and friendship with us, and I know I have appreciated and grown from her commitment to making our school a successful place. Sandy Mond, our wonderful principal, wrote of Susan that she is one big smile. I couldn't agree more. Susan comes to school each day with an upbeat attitude and a sunny hello. She greets her students with a warm smile and handshake. Her classroom embodies what she believes about teaching and learning. Her students are encouraged in a supportive environment to take risks, meet challenges, and continue to grow. Susan bases her instructional decisions on what she knows is best for her students. Her students know that she cares about them, that she is there to help them achieve all that they can, and that she expects the very best from each of them. The teachers in Greenwich are part of a team, and as a team member, I couldn't be more pleased that Susan Whalen has been recognized as a distinguished teacher for her outstanding skills and dedication to our profession. Susan has so proven, I am more than I am, but less than we are. I am more than I am, but less than we are. One who instills that feeling in all of us is truly distinguished. Congratulations, Susan.
Thank you so much, Sue. That was so nice. And Judy, that was great. Now, I need Sue for one more thing, and that is to help me hold this poster. When my class heard about this award, they were so excited for me. And I told them that I had received the award not just for me, but for our entire Parkway school community. That our school is like a garden where every flower is unique and wonderful. So they made this poster. Here you can see our wonderful students, their parents, the teachers, custodians, secretaries, paraprofessionals, all the people who make our school such a fantastic place. Here are Sue O'Connell. The kids decided which one. Sue O'Connell, Judy Tatter, Kelly Albano, who so kindly and graciously nominated me to receive this award. Here are my other teammates, Anne Marie Burns, Joseph Giulietti, and Joan Popper. And here in the center of the garden is our beautiful, bright sunflower, our principal, Dr. Sandy Mond. The thing that makes our school such a special place is that we all work cooperatively together. Thank you, Sandy, for being our inspiration. It is a joy and a privilege to be a part of your team. What is not seen on this poster is the air, the wind. My own beautiful daughters, Gwyneth and Megan, have supported me and shared me with my other children all these years. And my darling husband, John, has truly been the wind beneath my wings. So I gratefully accept and thank the committee for this honor as a representative of the Parkway School Garden.
Next, we'd like to have Rebecca Gula and John Zimmer, students at Greenwich High School, who will introduce Michael Batchelor.
When Beck and I sat down to brainstorm what exactly makes Mr. Batchelor such a great teacher, we had no problem coming up with pages of examples. He has such a positive effect on all of his students and taught us more in 1 year than we have learned in our entire lives. His energetic classes, the demanding work, and the caring teacher all add up to equal Mr. Batchelor, the most distinguished and special teacher that we know. Mr. Batchelor generally cares about our education. Class was fun because Mr. Batchelor connected with each of his students on a very personal level through inside jokes. The environment was so personal and comfortable that even if you were confused, he helped you talk out the problem so you could arrive at the answer. He was always extending himself through the encouragement of extra help outside the class. He understood that we all had busy lives outside of school and was flexible to our schedules. The amount of work we did all year in Mr. Batchelor's class was impressive, but we never could have done it if we didn't believe it was personally rewarding. No other teacher could inspire such a high level of performance, except for Mr. Batchelor. While some teachers take weeks to hand back homework, essays, and tests, Mr. Batchelor could turn our work around the next day. His efficiency made the effort even more worthwhile. The first essays we wrote were the hardest tasks we had ever been assigned, but after completing more than a dozen, they became more manageable. The essays organized all the material we had learned at the end of each unit into a paper that led to a better understanding. Our confidence grew as each 10-page paper got progressively better, and we acquired a bolstered self-esteem.
Mr. Batchelor has the amazing ability to correct 60 essays in one day on top of his already very busy schedule. He made us work very hard, but it was worth it, knowing that we worked diligently and earned every single grade we received. He is fair and equally interested in all of his students' success. He is always in a good mood and accepting of a good joke. His love of his job inspired us to work with him in order to learn more than ever before. He knows the material that he teaches inside and out. He even has the scary ability to remember the exact page numbers and locations of almost every quote that was fundamental to the material that we learned. He teaches an unbiased view of history by making his students learn 3 different theories and points of view for every unit in American history. We learned to be objective about our past, and we understood for the first time how interpretation can greatly affect the material that we learn and read. Everything we have been through in Mr. Batchelor's class has caused us to be raised up a notch, making everything else more reasonable. It's the little things we remember about Mr. Batchelor that make us laugh and reminisce. He would always have rubber bands on his wrists, and he would put his foot up against the wall, leaving dozens of black marks without realizing it. His behavior and energy made us laugh, which was most important of all. A Distinguished Teacher Award was created for teachers like Mr. Batchelor. It would be impossible for us to find anyone more deserving of this honor. It would be difficult to find another student who wouldn't agree. John and I are excited and honored that Mr. Batchelor is receiving the Distinguished Teachers Award.
Thank you very much, John and Rebecca. I have tremendous memories of their academic prowess and performance, but my fondest memory of the two of them was their performance in a sort of guerrilla theater production of Puss in Boots, where they enthralled a group of second graders at Julian Curtis School last year. They were phenomenal. These articulate kids were also capable of elevating a wonderful dramatic performance. Thank you, John and Rebecca. This is truly a very touching and moving moment. I would like to thank also the Gula family and the Zimmer family for their hand in this, for the people who seconded my nomination, Julie Machen, a valued colleague, and Ari Rothman, our program coordinator, with whom I've been partnered this year in the Social Studies Program Review and on whom I've depended incredibly. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Julie. And thank you for my Havemeyer brains, Nancy Hernshar, who makes technology hum in my behalf. If it plugs in, lights up, bubbles, burbles, Nancy does it. I simply make yellow pages fly, and she turns them into legibility. Nancy, thank you so much. When I started out at the Havemeyer job, a new deputy superintendent for elementary education gave a workshop in which he proclaimed, teaching is the loneliest and most isolated profession. And I sort of went, I don't think he's visited the high school, which at that time had no doors and was exploring the idea of replacing the open cubbies with lockers. He also had not known the degree of contact and collegiality that exists at teaching at Greenwich High School. We are partnered with somebody from the English department, and who could possibly be isolated or lonely, paired with people like Dwight Wall, Ralph Petty, Craig Anderson, and my current partner, Larry Sullivan, whose knowledge of his own discipline as well as mine is absolutely scary. Who could be possibly lonely and isolated when surrounded by colleagues such as Mark Epstein, Marcy Schoenfeld, Chris Kazanis, Carol Sutton, Carol Tierney, David Ross, Julie Machen, Rich Alessi, among others, who keep us stimulated and keep us informed and keep us constantly debating historical positions? Who could possibly be lonely and isolated when working with and partnered with the wonderful people who have headed the high school social studies program over the years I've been there? Bob Randall, who's recently retired, the late Renee Spellman, Joel Adelberg, and currently Ari, who has, I said, been an anchor in my professional life this year with all he's done on the program review. And finally, education doesn't leave at the door. It comes home. My daughters, Robin and Kim, have sort of taken a Spiro Agnew approach to distinguished teachers. I've seen one, I've seen them all. This is obviously an elderly audience because that reference got a laugh. Kim is currently on the Hill pitching for Eagle Hill Hardwick against Notre Dame, Notre Guy, or some other small Massachusetts academy, and Robin is gearing up to take a final exam. Most thanks to Susan, who sat up here and stood up here last year, and for whom I have no words to express my gratitude. She was an English partner who's become a life partner. Thank you.
You'll find that they're all hard acts to follow. Next, we would like to have Janet McDonald, a parent, who will introduce Alyssa Lewis.
Thank you. Alyssa Lewis is a stellar teacher. In her classroom, love of learning fills the air. One senses her vitality and enthusiasm, her openness and flexibility, and especially her love and respect for her students. Her multisensory teaching style meets the diverse learning styles of those students. She is a master at making connections between ideas, and the children are quick to follow her lead. At times, she seems to pluck the ideas from the tops of their heads, and they are always as delighted as she is when that light bulb goes on. She is their guide and coach and cheerleader, while encouraging them at the same time to take responsibility for themselves. Her confidence in them and her high expectations for them yield thrilling results. Mrs. Lewis's response to any problem is, "How can I help?" She has helped our children, my children, and many, many others by guiding them through a challenging year of academic and personal growth that will serve them as a foundation for life. Alyssa Lewis.
It is with pride and joy that I stand here today. Pride because my class is extraordinary. I love what I do and always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. I have a passion to learn, and I share that with my students. I am proud to do my personal best each day. There is joy in knowing that I make a difference. In our class, we continue to build the foundation for the next day, the next lesson, the next year. And as that foundation is built, I don't lose sight of each child's uniqueness. They're like a snowflake. I differentiate the lesson according to their needs. But through it all, I push them, I stretch them to reach their next level. By providing a nurturing environment and a challenging classroom, I empower the learner and encourage the children to respect each other. Having been on several district committees, I know it's exciting to teach with the caliber of teachers here. We all work together to make a difference for all of the students. My second grade teammates are supportive. We work hard, we collaborate, and we are friends. North Mianus is truly a wonderful place. We are a community working together, and like a puzzle, we fit. The custodians, our office staff, and our PTA have vital roles. The families and the students care about our school. Our assistant teachers help with special needs students, but go beyond. My colleagues work hard to ensure that their students strive for excellence, and our administrators guide and support us. All of these people are like my extended family. Many were at our wedding, shared in Ricky's arrival, provided support in January, and many are here today celebrating. Thank you. And to my family, thank you. Ricky, and I live in Old Greenwich, and there is pride in seeing former students at rocket launches, in a play, or just around town. To know that I have touched their lives brings joy. I thank the committee, my nominator today and in the past, the board, and Dr. Lulo for this distinguished honor. I know that I will continue to make a difference. It is with joy that I teach my students, help them celebrate their uniqueness, and encourage them to go beyond. Thank you.
Now we'd like to have Lizzie Rizzo, a parent, who will introduce Jane Niwa.
I'm here today to introduce to you one of the 6 Greenwich Distinguished Teacher Award recipients. I have been very lucky to have my 3 children attending Greenwich Public Schools and getting to know their wonderful teachers and their great educational system. I am here representing 25 families who, in one way or another, participated in this nomination process and felt, as I did, blessed that our kids were or are still her students. These 25 families come from different cultures, different countries, and different speaking languages. But we all share our heartfelt appreciation for one special teacher, for the teacher that due to our particular circumstances we have the privilege to know, the one who has day in and day out welcomed our children with open arms, the teacher who makes each and every one of her ESL students feel unique and particularly gifted for their background, their culture, for what they bring to their school and their community. The teacher who builds each and every one of her students from the inside, nurturing each child as an individual, being particularly sensitive to the problems and fears faced by the students who have just arrived from different parts of the world. Being an immigrant in such a great country It's not easy at all. Our kids feel fear, insecurity, and they even question their own values. We all feel very thankful as she was able to make them feel proud of who they were, not replacing values, but adding to them. She was able to model better individuals. This teacher is not only the one who had reached out to her students above and beyond the call of duty, but also has touched our families in a way that has made a big difference in all our lives. You have a real ambassador. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Jane Niwa, ESL teacher at the International School at Dundee, Distinguished Teacher Award recipient.
Because I'm in the field of English as a second language, I've had somewhat an unusual opportunity of teaching across the grades from kindergarten through 12th. At Central Middle School first, some of you remember me then at Greenwich High School, then at Old Greenwich, and now at the International School at Dundee. Knowing the strong work ethic and dedication not only of the Greenwich Public School teachers at all these levels, but also the high caliber of the excellent teachers within my own ESL department, some of whom are sitting here today, I am both honored and humbled to be the recipient of this award. My thanks also goes to my family and to the group of parents and staff who nominated me and seconded me. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Hontoni arigatou gozaimashita. Like most teachers, I have a collection of student gifts and notes pinned all around my classroom work area. 4 of these remain constant as I set up my room each year, and I guess you could say they represent the essence of what I think are the essential elements of education. The first is a learning rubric that rates a student's level of involvement on the continuum from passive to active, juxtaposed against a smorgasbord of teaching approaches and resulting in the student's acquisition of both knowledge and skills. The key ideas for me being student involvement, variety of teaching approaches, and active acquisition of knowledge and skills. The second item on my wall is a list entitled, What Does It Take to Reimagine Curriculum? Allow me to share a few of my favorites. What does it take to reimagine curriculum? It takes a different relationship with parents, teachers whose methods are informed, flexible, and eclectic, teachers who embrace change, teachers who see themselves as learners, bravery, and passion. Item number 3 that remains from year to year at my desk is another shorter list of statistics. If we could, it says, shrink the Earth's population to a village of 100 people with all existing human ratios remaining the same, there would be 57 Asians, 21 Europeans, 14 from the Western Hemisphere, and 8 Africans. 50% of the entire world's wealth would be in the hands of only 6 people, all living in the United States. 50 would suffer from malnutrition. 70 of the 100 would be unable to read, and only 1 would have a college education. This serves as my reminder that we as teachers need to model tolerance and lead our students to develop not only a global perspective, but also a global responsibility. But perhaps my favorite item that I cannot bring myself to throw away, which sits right above my desk, is a portrait of myself drawn by one of my more colorful students from Italy. This child was in a totally new environment, didn't know a soul in the school, couldn't speak a word of English. He and I sat knee to knee, eyes linked, intently drawing each other's faces in great detail. I like to think that this Portrait of Niwa by Raffaele symbolizes the critical link not only between the student and the teacher, but also between human beings. In this simple act of connecting, I was able to non-verbally communicate, "You are safe, I will care for you, we will learn together." In closing, I would like to share with you non-teachers a somewhat well-kept teacher secret. Although it is our job to facilitate and explain and impart knowledge, we are learning as much, if not more, than the students. Learning not only new information and better teaching techniques, but also learning life's lessons from both students and parents. The emblem on a t-shirt given to me by our school secretary, Kitsy Scott, describes the tenor of the 30-plus years of my teaching career in a nutshell. It simply states, do what you like what you do. Thank you.
Next, we're going to ask Paige Davis, a parent, to introduce Kathy Onofrio.
I'm a parent of a child with special needs. I've observed the program from the inside as a parent, the special education program as a parent, and from the outside as a member of the Special Education Services Committee, which is a group of parents representing each school in the district who come together to share information and to support each other in the process. We have witnessed how the responsibilities of a special education teacher have expanded as the number of students have grown and as their needs have become more diverse. Kathy Onofrio is a special education teacher at Riverside School who has worked with my child and her teachers for the past 2 years. For many people, special education is a place or a service. With Kathy as a teacher, special education is a gift that she enthusiastically bestows on our children, each gift thoughtfully chosen and creatively wrapped to suit the needs of every unique child she teaches. She learns what strengths they bring and what obstacles they must bear. And with this in mind, she crafts a plan to motivate them, educate them, to draw them out, and to help them realize their academic and social potential. She gives our children the gift of success, growth, and a sense of parity with peers that they may not have experienced before. I am so pleased to present Kathy Onofrio to you and to congratulate her on receiving the Distinguished Teacher Award this year.
First, I'd like to say thank you to Paige and also say happy birthday to Paige. And I'd also like to thank all of the other parents who have supported me in the work that I do with their children. The partnership right there makes my work much more meaningful. As I thought about this 60-second speech that we were to write, I wanted to thank everyone. I wanted to say something meaningful, and I really wanted to tell a joke, but people who know me well know I really wanted to tell the joke, but we kind of had to cut it out because of the 60-second limit, so there we go. So instead, I'm going to start with the thank yous. Being a special education teacher, I share my students with many other people at Riverside School. I'd have to say that all I can say is thank you to all of those people. Without them, I would not be the educator that I am today. I truly believe that any and every one of them could be standing up here in these shoes. I also wanted to thank my friends, most of them who are teachers, who are at the other end of the line every time you have a day where you need a bit of support. I wanted to thank my family, my mother who drove 600 miles to see me get this award, my daughter Amanda who missed soccer practice, and my daughter Allison who gracefully and thoughtfully explained to her sister Amanda why she should miss soccer practice. Now for the meaningful part of the speech. The first year I worked in Greenwich, I received a card from one of my students that had a quote on it by Belle Kaufman. I keep it on my refrigerator, but I also keep it in the back of my head as I go through the day. It read,
Children are the true connoisseurs. What's precious to them has no price, only value. What we do in our jobs is so precious to so many people. I think if we remember that, it makes our jobs much easier. I'd like to thank the committee, and I'm very honored to accept this award. Thank you.
Well, it's never too late to learn. At least Paige corrected my pronunciation. It is Kathy Onofrio. Next, we'd like to have Jan Marchand, a colleague, who will start the introductions for John Yoon, and Jim Breen, who will join.
Hello. I'm so thrilled to be able to present John Yoon as a distinguished teacher, and I will be sharing my time with the seconders. But Dom, I'm also very glad you had all the music today, because I know John, even though he's at the high school, has been looking over his future prospects. They're here. John is dedicated and talented. He loves what he does, and he's even expanded his program to provide more musical opportunities for the students at GHS. He also provides performing opportunities for them in town, locally, regionally, nationally, and even internationally. Both his student groups and he have won so many awards, it's not possible to list them in my 60 seconds. A few years ago, I attended a student performance at Carnegie Hall given by area students who participated in the Juilliard School's Saturday program. While introducing the event, Isaac Stern said, "Remember what we are about, to give wings to new artists, to new youngsters, to be aware of what is new in music and also what is good in music." And that is what John is all about. His greatest strength and contribution as a teacher is what he develops in his students. He gives them new talents and new wings. The two students who were seconders wanted to be here today, but couldn't come. They are the co-drum majors of the high school band, Chris Versfeld and Ned Breen. But Ned's father is here to speak for them. They got him to come all the way from the city to represent them. So I'll turn over to Tim Breen, who will present the students' comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As Jan mentioned, Ned and Chris could not be here, and they thought that what might be the best way to show their appreciation for Mr. Yoon and honor on this day, honoring him, would be to offer you some of the excerpts from their nominating letters. So that's what they've done, and I'd like to give you some of this today, sort of a collage commentary. I might also add that seeing some GHS alumni drum majors out here in the audience, that I would be remiss not to say that Chris and Ed would want you to know this is from the entire GHS band family. Mr. Yoon's dedication of time to the band program is unparalleled. He spends an extraordinary amount of time rehearsing the several band musical groups. He is at the high school 4 out of 5 days of the week at 6:30 a.m. to work more closely with one section of the band at a time. On Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, he stays at school until the late evening working with the jazz groups. His motivation has simply been to give us the best experience possible. For me and for so many of my friends, he has certainly succeeded. Mr. Yoon is without a doubt a distinguished teacher deserving of recognition. His determination and his faith in what he does radiates to all of his students as well as parents, making the band a larger and more tightly knit community of dedicated individuals. I can recall many incidents where Mr. Yoon has gone out of his way at the start of each year to to make freshmen feel at home and welcome. He makes it a point to try to get to know each individual personally in order to bring the students closer together. I have never studied with a person more proficient and enthusiastic about music than Mr. Yoon. His genuine love for what he does touches each and every individual. In band rehearsal, he issues an unspoken challenge for each student to match the composer's demand in music. Every student is given the challenge to strive for perfection and excellence, and I can think of no man or woman better suited in his or her field to issue this challenge than Mr. Yoon. He is one of the finest teachers I've ever had the pleasure of knowing and studying with. These are a few of their comments. And since I did get the honor to do this, I will only add a small comment. My father was a musician and a music educator, so I know what it is to have the right stuff. I grew up with it when it comes to music, making music, and teaching. And I'm proud to present Mr. John Yoon, a gentleman, a teacher, a scholar, a musician with the right stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. As you've heard from all the candidates, I am also truly humbled and honored to be here and to share some time with you. And indeed, we did get 60-second memos about the length of our speeches, so I didn't really write anything down that's as meaningful, but I do have a couple of things to share. And I want to, first of all, thank everybody, thank the committee, and obviously the colleagues at the high school, and not only music colleagues at the high school, but also people who are working really, that's really where the trenches is, in middle schools and in elementary schools. And some of my colleagues are here today, and you've seen the products. Yes, indeed, I was eyeing some of those kids over there and thinking, yeah, I will have them in the future, and I would love to get them participate in the band program and the entire music program. But most importantly, I need to thank my family, especially my wife. It is well known that I spend more time with band kids than I do with my own, and I say that with amazing amount of guilt, because I do know that, but at the same time, I feel the need to complete my job as I see it, as it is best for the program, and at times it is a very conflicting thing. And my wife has really been an angel and in dealing with all the issues that come with being a band director. And as I said, she really deserves the hand more than I in many respects, because we have two little children who are 2 and 6. And most of the time when I'm at 6:30 sectionals, the kids are still asleep, and Tuesdays and Thursdays when I come home late, they're pretty much ready to go to bed, or they're already in bed, and so she's taking care of everything. So I just want her to know how much I love her, and I appreciate the things that she had to put up with me. And not only that, but I take Christmas vacation time to take the band over to London this past year, and she was here all by herself. So the kind of sacrifices that she's made. There are a couple of things that are really important to me about this award, and I'm really, it's more significant for me because I've truly believed that music is the reflection of our soul, of the community and the country. And in the recent past, people have really felt that maybe music was not that important because we needed to get back to the basics of education, and they felt that they were the frills. And more recently, rather, there have been much research done about the importance of music in our lives, and that has really helped to bring back the music education back into our public schools. And you could tell that by the kind of commitments that New York City has made to bring back music education in their schools. But more importantly, I think that music is essential because it's part of our daily life, our lives, fabric of our lives, in that sometimes we can't really fathom what it's like to not be able to hum a tune or turn on the radio, or even go outside and listen to those chimes making beautiful sounds that really could equate to music. And often we take it for granted because it is all around us. And unlike 100 years ago when you had to produce music to enjoy music, Now we just turn on the radio, the CD, and so forth. And sometimes we forget how important it is in our lives. And maybe, you know, it might be a wonderful opportunity for you to do some experiment in the future to just turn everything off and not to sing. Imagine somebody dancing at a dance without any music. It just would not work. And I could think of just many, many reasons why music is so important. And what we're about, all of my colleagues and myself, are here to truly provide the best experience possible for our students. But more importantly, we're here to make them educated consumers of music. So when they become parents, when they become educators, when they become businessmen, that they have an understanding of what music is all about. And instead of saying, well, I like that tune because it's got a nice beat to it, and I like it, you know, they need to go beyond that and be able to express why they enjoy music, for what reasons. And that is why I do what I do. And I know I've gone over way beyond my 60 seconds, but I used to be a computer science major when I first went to college, and it took me one semester to figure out that that's not what I wanted to do. This was something that I truly love, and I know that my colleagues feel the same way. So once again, I'd like to thank Jan and two drum majors, Chris and Ned, and also Jeff Spector, who's our coordinator, and all the committee members for making this possible. So thank you very much.
It is such a joy to celebrate all the outstanding attributes that these teachers represent. Congratulations to each of you. You have ignited an excitement for learning in your students, and you have given your students the capacity to make a better tomorrow. For that, we thank you. Thank you all for joining us today in this celebration of joy and happiness and excellence. We hope now that you will join us in the refreshments and greeting our new distinguished teachers. Thank you.